So now, what you're going to see is that we all know about the history of lynchings that took place with Judah. Next slide. We all know that the white man's the devil and he takes pleasure in murdering us. You understand? Next slide. But what we don't know is that this right here was a Taino. You understand? Some people say he was an Arawak. All I know is that this was a cacique. You understand? Meaning a chief over in the Tainos. And this brother right here, they turned around and they're trying to forcibly convert him to Christianity. And he turned around and said, is there going to be more white Christians in heaven? He said, yeah. He said, then I'll go to hell. And then they burnt him at the stake. The same way that they lynched us, the same way they, you understand, the same way they did it to Judah, they did it to us. All of us went through the same things. Next slide. So now this is the unknown history of Latino lynchings. We all know that they did this to Judah, Benjamin, Levi. What we don't know is that they were doing this to Ephraim. They were doing this to Manasseh. They were doing this, you understand, to Issachar. Don't ever try to tell me the Mexicans ain't our brothers, man. Next slide. These lynchings took place in the Southwest U.S. in present-day Texas, California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Nevada. These killings were carried out by vigilantes and other masked men as a form of street justice. Tell me that don't sound like the KKK. You understand? So now, these killings were carried out, these killings became so bad that the Mexican government lodged official complaints to the U.S. Council in Mexico, given that its region of the U.S. was at one time Mexican land and it was shared with the Indians. So now what you're going to find out is that they said F us too. You understand? As always. Next slide. Delgado goes on to cite that only some U.S. historians have written about these Latino lynchings and have pointed out that they occurred due to racial prejudice and protection of turf and Yankee nationalism. So now give me the next slide. What you're going to find out is that the reason why we don't know that this happened to us is because, one, there's only a handful of American scholars who covered it, which means what? It was other Latinos and Hispanics who were covering it. So as a result of them covering it, it was written in another language. It was written in Spanish. It was written in Portuguese. So we didn't even have access to it. And once again, this is another point in history that was glossed over. Just like the North American Indians going on slave ships. Just like the Tainos going on slave ships with Columbus. This is all history that they don't teach us because, once again, you do not educate a slave. Next slide. Further exploration reveals that these lynchings were not only edited and minimized outright, but were also ignored or misrepresented due to primary accounts in the community newspapers being written in Spanish. Since very few mainstream historians read Spanish or consulted with these records, they were left to flounder. And it got down to the point where our own people ain't believe it. It got down to the point where we started to just think that this was myth and folklore. It's like that, what's that rapper? B.O.B. getting high thinking the slave trade doesn't exist. You understand? It's the same thing. We start thinking that the transatlantic slave trade was a myth. Well, that's the same thing that happened with these lynchings. Next slide. So now, once again, the encomienda system. This is another term for Indian slavery, which is another reason that we don't know that the Indians were enslaved. You look this up, this was something that started off just like sharecropping. They would come, talk to a chief, give him a little bit of resources so that this way he'd be able to go and cut sugarcane. That this way he'd be able to go and mine gold. And then as a result, who would reap all the benefits of it? The Spaniards, the Portuguese, the Dutch. You understand? The devil in the earth, the so-called white man. And then eventually, this turned directly into slavery. You understand? Ultimately forced the natives into slavery. This is what the encomienda system did. Once again, it's no different than Jim Crow. It's no different than what they do to us with the amendments in the damn prison system. You understand? They got brothers right now sewing uniforms for the military for 70 cents a day. Next slide, please. So now, kill the Indian and save the man. You take a look at this. This was North American Indian boarding school. They've been separating our children from us since the beginning of time. It started with the slave ships. Now, we know all about the ice raids that's going on right now. But what we don't know is that not only did they separate us on the slave ships, not only did they do that, but they created boarding schools where they would rip our children away from us. And look at the first thing that they did. They would cut our damn hair, man. They tried to take away our identity. They knew braids was our culture. You understand? And what they would do is try to hit the reset button. Look how their spirit shifted. You understand? After all the beatings, all the molestation. You understand? Next slide. Over the next several decades, the Karzai served as a model for nearly 150 such schools that opened around, like the 1887 Dawes Act that relocated Native American land, or the Bureau of Indian Affairs 1902 haircut order, specifying that men with long hair couldn't receive rations. What is rations? Your food, survival. So if you do not want to starve to death, you have to cut your hair. You understand? And once again, that's why what General Muhammad said is so important, man. Your hair is a declaration of your freedom, of your independence. You understand? Straight up and down. Captain Yak, this is no shade at you and your new haircut. I want you to know. You know what I'm saying? You can get down however you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm the boss, sir. The water for being a good sport, I'm going to get checked later. Let's go. I'm going to get a $50 fine in the mail. You understand? So now what this ended up being was forced assimilation, and they forced us to become more like them. Next slide. At boarding schools, staff forced indigenous students to cut their hair, use new Anglo-Saxon American names, and, they forbid children from speaking their native language and observing their religious and cultural practices. This is the same thing that they did to Judah. This is the same thing that they did to Christianity. They forced us to become Christians. They forced us to become just like them and assimilate, you understand? And this is what's crazy. And by removing them from their homes, the schools disrupted students' relationships with their families and other members of the tribe. Because once they came back home, they could no longer relate or identify with their people. And you know what? And that's the same danger that we have when we think that our children's going to get a better education in a private school system. That's right. We send them there or to a Catholic school, they make us shave our beard, and then what ends up happening? We end up hating, listen, that's trying to seek white love will make you hate black. You understand? So what will end up happening is that you get people who turn around and say, why do you talk white? You get people who turn around and they say, oh, you don't sound like us. And as a result, that's another way that they divide and conquer us. That's another way that we don't have unity amongst ourselves anymore. Next slide, please. Some students never made it home at all. You understand? Just like the what was it, 4,000, I think, kids that they misplaced. How many kids that are missing right now? Hispanic children that ICE took, that they have no idea where they are. Well, that's the same thing they do to us in foster care. That's the same thing that they did to us here. Boarding schools were susceptible to deadly infections like tuberculosis and flu, and schools like Karzai had cemeteries for dead students. So they were finding mass graves of these children or reporting them as runaways. When I'll tell you what was really happening, some of these kids was rebellious. Some of these kids had a spine, and some of these kids fought back, and they murdered these kids like they murdered Tamir Rice. You understand? I'm gonna try to chill with the understands that, but that was a heavy point, Cap. I'm trying here. Next slide, please. Boarding schools based off the Karzai model fizzled out in the early 20th centuries, but after that, the rupture of Native American families continued in other ways. Native kids are simply being deemed to be in unfit households with unfit mothers. Isn't that the same thing they try to say about us today? Same thing they try to say about us with child services. Don't tell me we're not the same people. We all suffering under these curses. Next slide.